One of the other things I want to add about the tweed material that you see here is the downside to tweed or any sort of cloth material really is keeping it clean. They do get dirty, but what you can do is you load up on that Scotch Guard stuff that they sell at, say, AutoZone or whatnot, and you spray it on the fabric. Basically, you have to spray it about once a month, and you spray that stuff on. You know, if you're going for a drive, or you're going to a show and you want to make sure the car, to keep the seats clean, you could put a towel down or something, or a clean cloth, and just to prevent it from getting dirty. And then just take the cloths off when you get to the show or whatnot. So, and like I said, they have all different types of vinyl as well. SoFine. They also have a stuff called ultra vinyl, which almost feels like leather, and they even do leather. So definitely take a look at their website. I think it's SoFineProducts.com, and they have an online catalog that's in PDF format. It's tough to still see the swatches in the right color, but you get an idea of what they have, and they do period correct stuff and stitching. So then we have over here, which is if you're going for the ultimate correctness, you got Lenny Kopp's West Coast Classic Restorations seat upholstery. He also has the correct headliners and carpet kits and whatnot, and basically he gets a lot of his stuff from Germany. This material is fantastic. I mean, the vinyl feels just so nice, so soft. Definitely, a higher quality than, say, the TMI. SoFine is very, very close to this quality as well. But what you can see here with Lenny's is the grain inside the upholstery here. Very, very close to the original, if not exact to what the original seat style was like. I love this material. If you're going for, say, a black car, this is a 55 black sedan that we're working on right now that just got back from paint. So we will be putting that red interior into this car because it is correct. And black and red to me is just dynamite. So for situations like this, I will spend the extra money. So you're looking at, say, seats and door panels. This is 2010 in November, and this is the prices that I'm seeing right now. I think you're between about $1,300 to $1,500 just for seats and door panels. And again, you'll probably wait a month or so to get it in. Their headliners, I've never bought their headliners. I have heard that they are exact to the German style that was offered in those years, the mohair. It's a cloth more or less. And but the stitching is also great here. As you can see, it's heat seamed. Not heat seamed. It's hidden stitched, and the H pattern. Just like SoFine, you don't need that much padding as opposed to TMI. TMI seems like the only upholstery that really I need. I got to bulk up the padding to really get the wrinkles out. Lenny stuff I did not need that, especially with the H pattern seat stuff. This was also the original mohair is underneath here. His upholstery will also come with some padding with it as well. Same with SoFine. There is a little bit of padding sewn to the material underneath, so you're in good hands there as well. So, and then there's the carpet kits that you can start looking at. This is, I get this from Wolfsburg West. This is the synthetic material, and it's pretty close to what was offered in those years as well. Of course, the German square weave carpet was original, and if you really want to be that authentic, you can go for the German square weave, but it is definitely probably maybe almost double the price of the synthetic. And the synthetic, it feels just as good and looks almost identical to the German. I mean, if you really have a keen eye, you can see the differences, but for the most part, this stuff will work out fine. And like I said, you don't have to go with this stuff. I go with this sort of material for the 50s bugs, because in my eyes the 50s bugs should be correct. And for 50s bugs, I'm most likely going to go with Lenny's stuff, or I'm going to go with SoFine. If you want high quality material but you don't want to spend as much as, say, Lenny's stuff or West Coast Classics, you go with SoFine. And SoFine, you can get this to look almost identical, pretty much. SoFine has a red called Wallaby Red, which is a little bit off from this red that was offered, but you can get it with the black piping and get it with the H pattern seat upholstery, or the whatever seat upholstery you want to use it for, and it'll be pretty damn close. Again, you're not going to have the grain like you see here in this vinyl, but for the most part, SoFine can basically do what West Coast Classic does, and you'll pay probably half the price as opposed to paying for the West Coast Classics. But if you're a real purist and you want the period correctness, you go with Lenny stuff. Okay, so now I have here some headliner material. Here's TMI. They have a mohair headliner, which is pretty good. They have ivory, beige, and tan, I believe, or gray. And I think this is the beige. Their beige and ivory are pretty close. I think the ivory is just a little bit more on the grayer side, but the beige has more of a warmer hue to it. Here is some other tweed material that you can use for seats and headliner. You can see it's like a woven material. I love using this stuff. TMI does sell some tweed material, but they don't get as light as SoFine's material. SoFine has that light color called bone, like I showed you on the seat and the headliner before, and that's nice and creamy white. But TMI I think only offers like 3 or 4 options for tweed, as opposed to SoFine. They might offer, I think, maybe 6 to 10 options, maybe even more. So give them a call and ask them. And then here's your basic, the vinyl headliners as perforated. They also sell a crushed vinyl, which doesn't have the holes in it. Again, I don't remember the last time I used a vinyl headliner, just because the wrinkles in it, and then you got to iron all that out, as opposed to the wrinkles in this. You can stretch this out. It's a little bit easier to stretch out and get them, to hide them, as opposed to the vinyl. And I know the vinyl's cheaper, but it's just, in my eyes, it's a little more difficult to put in. And this is actually some original headliner that I ripped out of one of the 50s bugs we have here. And if you can see close, this has a woven material to it. So it's really not like a mohair. It's more of like a cloth. So this is why I like to go with the tweed, because in my eyes, tweed is probably maybe a little closer to this stuff, even though the woven side to tweed is a little bit thicker, as you can see, But the original cloth has some woven to it. Now, here's the other headliner I'm putting in my 55. This is from Wolfsburg West. And Wolfsburg West, remember too, they also offer Lenny stuff as well, and they have the period correct interior, so you can always go to Wolfsburg as well. But this is mohair, and it's a beige that I got for my 55 that I'm going to put in. Again, Lenny has his headliners, but I think his headliners run around $400 or $500. So depending if you want, how correct you want to get it to this. This is also, pretty aged, this material, but if you want to get it close to this material, you go with Lenny. Wolfsburg's headliners are really, high quality stuff too, but you'll probably pay about 180 bucks, after 190 bucks after shipping maybe. SoFine's headliners are probably going to come in around the same price. If you go with TMI's mohair, it's probably around the same price, maybe a little bit less. I do notice though that sometimes the fitting is not as great with TMI, but for the most part, when it comes to the one-piece or the multi-piece headliners, you should be all right. Okay, this next section I just want to talk to you about is here's SoFine and all their swatches they have given me, and I keep these all on record here because I'm restoring bugs like crazy, and I need to a good idea of what's out there. Call them up and they'll send you swatches. And that's the best way to look at them, as opposed to looking at it on the computer monitor. And like I said, SoFine, their material is excellent. It's right up there with West Coast Classic stuff. You'll most likely pay half of what you'll pay going through Lenny or West Coast. I love Lenny's material, but if you're on a tight budget, but you don't want to go so super cheap, you want to get maybe like middle of the road price, I would think SoFine is your way to go. They do have here like extreme vinyl, ultra vinyl, things like that. Once you start getting into this realm with SoFine, where it feels almost like a leather, then you're going to be paying upwards towards like West Coast stuff. So here's their Wallaby Red, which I like. Very nice red that you could use for those 50s bugs. And just like TMI, SoFine also offers velour material. I've never used this stuff really, but some people have, and I heard they're actually good for headliners. Again, on their website they have a whole catalog of these swatches, and they have more examples of tweed that you see here, and velour. Okay, so these are your options. You have 60s bugs, early 60s bugs. This is a late 60s and later bug, and then you got even your 50s bugs. In my opinion, when it comes to the 50s bugs, I like to try to be as period correct as I can. If you go to my website and you see my past sales section and you look at those 50s bugs, there were a few that I used TMI interiors, but for the most part, from here on out, I usually go with SoFine or Lenny's West Coast Classic. You know, like I said, from once you hit like around the 63 and later areas of bugs, I mean, you can, you know, TMI does make material that's very close to the original style and type and whatnot. Again, it's not sewn material on the seats or on the door panels. It's like heat seamed. Here's your typical 68 bug with the original black interior, and SoFine, I'm sorry, TMI makes this stuff almost exact. So if you're on a budget, I mean, you're in good hands with these years. That's about it. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to contact me at chris@classicbwbugs.com or visit my website, www.classicbwbugs.com. Take care.